9, 4 work together. Directions tell us that using October of the current year, we're going to journalize the transactions for Golden Fabrics on page 10 of the cash payments journal. The checks used as source documents are abbreviated as C. No C is needed as part of the check number. So we have quite a few transactions here in October. Again, they only give us one journal right now to choose from, so they're making it easy for us now. All of our transactions are going to deal with paying cash, and so they will all go into a cash payments journal. All right, so we will start with October 2nd. Wrote a check to Built-in Communications for a telephone bill, $124, C521. Gonna go down to my date, October 2nd. And we might need to check our chart of accounts because I'm just not sure of my expense that I'll be using. Sometimes they'll change that one on us. So there's nothing about a telephone in here. So I'm going to assume that that is going to be my utilities expense. So I'm going to debit my utilities expense for $124, and I'm going to credit cash for $124. Remember, when I'm in my cash payments journal, I will always have a credit to cash. If I don't have a credit to cash, that tells me I'm in my wrong journal. And then I'm going to put my check number in there. I do not put that C, so I just put 521. On the 3rd, we wrote a check on account to Gray Manufacturing Incorporated, covering purchase invoice number 532 for $1,640 less a 2% cash discount, check number 522. So first I'm going to put my vendor into my account title, so Gray Manufacturing Incorporated. And then I'm going to go over to my accounts payable debit. I'm going to debit my accounts payable for the full amount that I owed them. So my purchase invoice was for $1,640. That's how much I owed them. That's how much I'm going to debit accounts payable for. Now I need to figure out my discount. It says that I got a 2% discount. So I'm going to take 1,640 times 2%. And that gives me a discount of $32.80. Then I'm going to figure out how much cash I actually paid them. So I'm going to take the full amount, 1,640, minus the discount that I received of $32.80. And that tells me I paid $1,607.20. Last thing I'm going to do is write in my check number 522. The 9th, I wrote a check to LPF, Manufacturing for merchandise with a list price of $1,575, check number 523. Okay, they're tricking us a little bit here because they're putting in that vendor name. However, we don't need to know that vendor name because we're simply buying merchandise with cash. We're not buying it on account. We're not paying them on account. We don't owe them money. We're buying merchandise with cash. That's all we need to know. So this one, we're actually going to debit our purchases account. Oops. So I'm going to put it in my general debit column. I'm debiting for $1,575. And then I'm going to credit cash for $1,575. Check number 523. On the 12th, we wrote a check to Village Supply for office supplies, $64, check number 524. Again, in this case, we do not need to know who we're writing the check to. We are simply buying supplies with cash. So I'm going to debit supplies, office, and I'm going to debit that for $64. And then I'm going to credit cash for $64. Check number 524. Now, if we think of this, we're getting supplies, we're buying supplies, so we're getting supplies, we have to debit our supplies account. Okay. The 16th, We wrote a check on account to Westland Supply covering purchase invoice number 516 for $426. There was no cash discount that was offered. We used check 525. Now, in this case, we are paying Westland Supply for a purchase invoice. We are paying them for money that we owed them. So in this case, we do need to put our vendor into our account title column. Okay, I owed them $426 for that purchase invoice, so I'm going to debit my accounts payable for the full amount, and then I'm going to credit cash for $426. Remember, I didn't have a discount for this one. And then put in my check number that I used. 31st. It says record the replenishment of petty cash fund on October 31st, check number 526. Now, they don't give us any information here, but they do give us our petty cash report. So that's what I want to go ahead and turn to. What I'm going to look at first is what I spent my money on. So supplies office, I'm going to debit for $48.15. Supplies store, I'm going to debit for $57.18. And my miscellaneous expense, I'm going to debit for $47.64. Okay, we look down here. It looks like we have cash short. Remember, since this is a positive number, that is cash short. So we have cash short of $1.05. So I need to put cash short and over. Since short is on the left, debit on the left, I'm going to debit that for $1.05. And then I'm going to credit cash for that total amount. So notice it says amount to replenish. I'm going to credit cash for that full amount of $154.02. And then I need to put in my check number that I used, 526. Okay, with that last one, I do want to double check and make sure that all of my debits equal my one credit. Check answer. And save and continue. Complete 9-4 on your own and then move on to the 9-5 lecture.